Auzubillahi minash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. I begin with the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Simon Naz, and today we are going to discuss lecture number 2 of the course Biometabolism, and the topic of discussion is digestion of protein, absorption and transportation of amino acids to the cell. I welcome all of you in this course with the prayer Rabbi Zidni Ilma, and hope you are all good in health and enjoying your studies. The key concepts I am going to give you today in this lectures are about introduction of proteins and amino acids classification, bonding in proteins, and structure of proteins. Organic biomolecules or macromolecules. As we have discussed in last lecture, macromolecules or organic biomolecules are larger molecules, or it is the total sum of all the macromolecules, small and large molecules present or and working in the cells are known as biomolecules. Chemicals or molecules present in the living organisms are known as biomolecules. Cell consists of bundles of organelles, and it consists of big organs as well as smaller organelles. And more than 100 chemical processes are continuously takes place in the cells. From one cell to another cells, substances transport as well as absorbs. The sum total of different types of biomolecules, compounds and ions present in a cell is known as cellular pool. Biomolecules are compounds of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. In other words, you can say biomolecules are organic molecules consist of compounds of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbon is unique. Carbon is the main component of organic molecule. Carbon is the main component of biomolecule. Carbon belongs to group number 4 of the periodic table, and it is unique. It has 4 valency electrons. It can attach 4 hydrogen atoms as well as 4 other groups along with it. It can form single bond, double bond, triple bond or multiple covalent bonds with other elements. It can also form chains or rings. It is present in many allotropic forms. It is almost present in all organic compounds. It forms the backbone or the back chain of almost all organic compounds. Proteins are polymers of amino acids. Carbon is well known, and it is also a major part of protein molecule. Along with carbon, 16% nitrogen in addition to carbon and hydrogen also present in the protein or amino acids of proteins. Proteins are used to form bones and muscles. Proteins are used to transport substances into or out of cells. Proteins help in fighting against diseases. Protein helps to control the rate of chemical reactions. Protein regulate the cell processes of cells. Protein contain elements like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Protein is the building block or monomer of the cell, whereas the monomer of protein is the amino acids. Building blocks of proteins are amino acids, and amino acids monomers are unite to form the polymer of protein. The building blocks of all the proteins are alpha amino acids. The general structure of an alpha amino acid you can see in this picture. It is known as alpha amino acid because amino group is present or attached to the carbon atom next to the main central carbon atom, or alpha carbon is involved for attaching amino group along with it. Therefore, they are known as alpha amino acids. In this picture, you can see at right side there is a carboxyl group with the negative charge on oxygen. At other side you can see amino group with the positive charge on hydrogen atom. At the upper side of carbon you can see hydrogen is attached. At the lower side there is R group or variant group is attached. This is the simple structure, or you can see this is the simple formula of amino acid. The portion of each amino acid that is different is the side chain called the R group. R may be methyl, ethyl, or long carbon chain groups. This amino acid is doubly ionized. Positive charge is present as well as negative charge is present in amino acid in the form of amino and carboxyl group. Both the charges counterpart each other, and this doubly ionized form is known as Zwitter ion. Usually it is predominated at nearly neutral values of pH. Simple amino acids are neutral, they are not acidic or not basic. Amino acids can be classified in the presence of R group, which is attached to the central amino acid chain. Amino acids are neutral. For example, those amino acids with one amino and one carboxylic group. With one amino and one carboxylic group, amino acids are neutral, like glycine, alanine, valine, leucine, and isoleucine. With one extra carboxylic group, amino acids are little bit acidic, like aspartic acid, asparagine, glutamic acid, and glutamine. With one extra amino group, amino acids become basic because their basicity little bit increases than neutral point. They are arginine and lysine. Sulfur containing amino acids have sulfur in their group like cysteine and methionine. Alcoholic amino acids having alcohol or OH group like serine, threonine, and tyrosine. Aromatic amino acids having cyclic structure or ring structure of benzene in their basic amino acid structure like phenylalanine and tryptophan. Heterocyclic amino acids having nitrogen in their ring structure like histidine and proline. There are 20 essential amino acids needed for the proper functioning of the body. Some are essential and some are non-essential amino acids. You can see in this picture different types of amino acids with the variation in R group. like aspartic acid, lysine, tyrosine, glutamic acid, arginine, and histidine. In aspartic acid, you can see COOH group is attached. In lysine, you can see an extra amino group is attached. In tyrosine, you can see phenol group is attached along with the simple amino acids, carboxylic group, and amino group. In glutamic acid, you can see a glutamic group is attached with an extra carboxylic COOH bond. In arginine, you can see triple nitrogen are bonded along with the carbon. In histidine, you can see a fifth member. In histidine, you can see a five-member benzene ring along with two nitrogen attached. In that circles, you can see variation in R group in various types of amino acids. Now come towards the basic bonding in proteins. The bond formed in peptides or amino acids is known as peptide bond. The bond formed between two or more than two amino acids or linkage that develop between two or more than two amino acids is known as peptide linkage. Amino acids are linked serially by peptide bonds or CONH bond that is formed between amino group of one amino acid and the carboxylic group of adjacent amino acid. Usually peptide formation is condensation process, and condensation is a process in which a water molecule is removed and the new product is formed by the removal of water molecule. You can see here two amino acids are present in this picture. One hydrogen is removed from the amino group of one amino acid and one hydrogen is removed from the amino group of one amino acid and OH or hydroxyl group is removed from the adjacent amino acid. When two amino acids are linked together, a water molecule is removed and a peptide linkage as shown in yellow color in this picture is developed, and the chain having two amino acids linked by a peptide bond is known as dipeptide. The sequence of amino acids present in a polypeptide is specific for specific or particular protein. Either amino acids are present in adjacent or they may be present in parallel, they may be present in antiparallel position. The sequence of amino acids present in a polypeptide is specific for particular protein. We can classify protein on the basis of functions they have performed. For example, protein may be structural, functioning performance proteins like keratin proteins and collagen proteins. Keratin proteins are important part of the nails as well as hairs and skin. They perform the function of the structure formation of hairs, nails, and skin. Similarly, collagen proteins are very helping in the bone formation or they take part in the structure formation of bones. Enzymatic proteins like pepsins play a very important role in the digestion of food particles in the stomach. Similarly, transport proteins like hemoglobin, it is present in blood and it performs the function of transport of substances from one blood cell to another blood cell. Hormonal proteins like insulin and growth hormones. Insulin play a very important role for the control of diabetes. It is released by our pancreas and it is a protein. Similarly, growth hormones like growth hormones of plants, gibberellin and cytokinins, etc. They are also proteins. Contractile proteins like actin and myosin, they are present in the muscles. They help in the muscle contraction and relaxation. Similarly, storage proteins like ovalbumin and hemp. Genetic proteins like nucleoproteins play a very important role for the formation of nucleic acids like DNA and RNA and nucleotides. Defensive proteins like immunoglobulins play a very important role for the defense against various diseases and play a very important role for the antibody formation. Receptor proteins like dopamine receptor and insulin receptors. So proteins are classified on the basis of functions they perform. Proteins can also be classified on the basis of their structure. They may be simple proteins, they may be conjugated proteins, or they may be derived proteins. Simple proteins are further divided into two types, globular proteins and fibrous proteins. Globular proteins are albumin, globulin, and histones. Fibrous proteins are collagen, elastin, and keratin. Conjugated proteins like nucleoproteins, glycoproteins, mucoproteins, lipoprotein, phosphoproteins, chromoproteins, and metalloproteins. Derived proteins, as its name indicates, they are derived from simple and conjugated proteins. They may be primary derived or they may be secondary derived proteins. Primary derived proteins are coagulated proteins, proteins, and metaproteins. Secondary derived proteins are proteoses, protons, and peptidases. So proteins are classified on the basis of their structure. You can see in this picture there are various food examples of proteins we obtained in routine diet. Various sources of protein in our food, in our meals, in our breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We gain proteins from cereal grains, from fish, egg, meat, from nuts, legumes, all sorts of white meat, from milk, yogurt, honey, butter, eggs, nuts. These are all sources of high protein foods. We can meet our daily requirement of proteins from milk and egg simply. Now come towards detailed structure of proteins. Before knowing about digestion, metabolism, and absorption of proteins, we must know about the structure and importance of proteins. Dear students, let us study in detail the structure of proteins. Proteins are an important class of biological molecules. They are usually macromolecules. They are the polymers of amino acids. Biochemists have distinguished several levels of structure or organizations of proteins. They are divided the proteins on the basis of their structure like primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, and quaternary structure. You can see in this picture primary structure is like beaded structure in the amino acid sequence. You can also see in this structure. Secondary structure is little bit complicated than primary structure. It consists of alpha helix and beta pleated sheets. Tertiary structure is usually three-dimensional structure of alpha helix and beta pleated sheets. They're little bit coiling in the tertiary structure. And quaternary structure is too much complicated. Complex proteins like hemoglobin fall in quaternary structure. It consists of many coils of tertiary structure. Let us see one by one about the detailed structure of primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary proteins. The primary structure of proteins refers to the sequence of amino acids present in the polypeptide chain. You can see in this picture the orange color beaded chain. It is usually a chain of polypeptides. In this chain, amino acids are covalently linked by peptide bonds. Too many amino acids are present in this chain. Each component amino acids in a polypeptide is known as residue or moiety. By conventional, the one-dimensional structure of protein starts from the alpha or amino terminal N end and ends in the carboxyl terminal or C end. You can see in this picture, these chains start from amino terminal and end with the carboxyl terminal. It is one-dimensional chain, and one amino acid is the amino group is present at one side, and the lasting amino acid is carboxylic terminal is present at the ending side of the chain. To predict two-dimensional and three-dimensional structure from sequence of homologies with related proteins or structure prediction, primary structure of the proteins are important because it can predict two-dimensional and three-dimensional structure from sequence of homologies present in the one-dimensional structure of primary structure of proteins. Many genetic diseases result from the abnormal amino acid sequences, and we can able to diagnose these genetic diseases from the abnormal amino acid sequence of this primary structure of proteins. To understand the molecular mechanism of action of protein, this primary structure is very helping. To trace the evolutionary paths of protein, this primary structure is also very helpful. There are two methods for the sequence determination in amino acids. First method is end group analysis or Edman degradation. Second method is gene sequencing method. We are not going in detail of these methods because our concern is only about the information or knowing about the structure and functions of proteins and importance of its digestion and absorption. What is secondary structure? Localized arrangements of adjacent amino acid formed as the polypeptide chain folds. Secondary structure is usually consist of amino acids, polypeptide chain foldings. In primary structure, you can see only straight chain, whereas in secondary structure, you can see foldings of the chains of the primary structure. These foldings consist of alpha helix, beta plated sheets, beta bands, non-repetitive structures, and super secondary structures. Linus Pauling was the first biochemist to propose some essential features of peptide units and polypeptides backbones. Essential features are the amide group is rigid and planar as a result of resonance. So rotation about carbon-nitrogen bond is not feasible in secondary structure of proteins. Rotation can take place only about nitrogen to alpha carbon and carbon to alpha carbon bonds, whereas carbon to nitrogen bond rotation simply is not possible. Only alpha carbon to nitrogen bond rotation is possible. Trans configuration is more stable than cis for R groups at C alpha conformation. Trans configuration is more stable than cis for R groups at C alpha conformation. From these conclusions, Pauling postulated two-ordered alpha helical structure of proteins. And two-ordered structure is consist of alpha helix and beta plated sheets known as secondary structure of proteins. You can see in this picture polypeptide chain conformation in secondary structure of proteins. The only reasonably free moment are rotation about around the carbon to alpha nitrogen bond. You can see this rotation is measured by phi, and carbon to alpha carbon bond, and this rotation is measured by psi. This is the central alpha carbon represented by white ball and two white carbon atoms and carbon bonds. The conformation of the backbone can therefore be described by the torsion angle, also known as dihedral angle or rotational angle. You can see in this picture psi conformation and phi conformation, both are represented by clockwise and anti-clockwise. Alpha carbon is represented by white ball and two white bonds, and this conformation in the backbone can be described by torsion angle, also known as dihedral angle or rotational angle of the proteins. You can see in this picture Ramachandran plot. What is Ramachandran plot? It is also known as Ramachandran diagram or a psi plot. It is originally developed in 1963 by G. N. Ramachandran. You can see in these plots there are white regions, yellow regions and red regions. White regions are sterically disallowed for all amino acids except glycine. Red regions are allowed regions, namely the alpha helic and beta plated sheets conformations are allowed in these red regions. Yellow areas are outer limits of these white and red regions. What is alpha helix and what are beta plated sheets? You can see in this picture a alpha helix. Its structure is like helix, therefore, or spiral, therefore it is known as helix. It is tightly packed, coiled polypeptide backbone core. Its backbone, you can see polypeptides are arranged, carbon, nitrogen, amino and COOH groups are arranged in its backbone, and they are tightly coiled, and polypeptide and peptide linkage is developed between various multiples of amino acids, as well as hydrogen bonding you can see in dotted structure. Side chains of hydrogen and R groups are extended outwards. R groups are represented in green balls and red balls represent oxygen. This alpha helix is stabilized by hydrogen bonding between carbonyl oxygen and amide hydrogen. Each amino acid per ton are 3.6. 3.6 residues in per ton of this alpha helix are present. Pitch of this alpha helix is 5.4 angstrom. Alpha helical segments are found in many globular proteins like myoglobulins and troponins C, etc. What are beta pleated sheets? They are like sheets, therefore they are known as sheets, and they are beta pleated because it involves polypeptide beta strands. It is formed when two or more polypeptides are lined up side by side like a sheet. Individual polypeptides beta strands are involved. Each beta strand is fully extended. They are stabilized by hydrogen bonding between nitrogen to hydrogen and carbonyl groups of adjacent chains. You can see yellow bonding in both beta-plated sheets between hydrogen and oxygen and between amino group and carboxylic group of one sheet to another sheet. There are two types of beta-plated sheets, parallel beta-plated sheets and anti-parallel beta-plated sheets. In parallel beta-plated sheets, both amino to carboxylic bonding is parallel. If one chain is contributing amino and the other chain is contributing carboxylic side by side. But in anti-parallel, one bond is between amino to carboxylic group in one sheet, and in another sheet anti-parallel nitrogen to carboxyl in reverse order from one sheet to another sheet is present. So there are two types of beta sheets. You can see three-dimensional or three-strand structure or secondary structure of amino acids. They consist of alpha helix and beta pleated sheets. Alpha helix are usually smaller, beta pleated sheets are usually bigger. Or you can see beta pleated sheets are separated where alpha helix are usually turned or coiled or attached side by side in the form of helix. Examples of secondary structure are decollagen triple helix and silk fibron beta sheets. What are beta bands present in secondary structure? Beta bands permits the changes of direction of peptide chain to get a folded structure. Usually we have C alpha helical structure and beta pleated sheets. But beta bands promote the bending of the bond at the beta site of carbon. It gives the protein globularity rather than linearity because of the bending of the bonds at the beta sites. Hydrogen bond stabilizes the beta band structure. Proline and glycine are frequently found in beta turns. They both are the amino acids that are present in the form of beta bands or beta turns. Beta turns often promote the formation of antiparallel beta sheets. Beta turns occur at protein surfaces. They involve four successive amino acid residues. Minimum four successive amino acid residues join to form beta bands. Along with one-dimensional beaded structure, alpha helical structure, beta pleated sheets, beta bands, there is an other shape of proteins known as omega loop shape or non-repetitive structures or coiled structure of proteins. A significant portion of globular protein structure may be irregular or unique. They include coils and loops. Segments of polypeptide chains whose successive residues do not have similar psi and phi rotations are known as coils. They have different psi and phi rotation of carbon bonds, carbon to alpha carbon to nitrogen and alpha carbon to carbon bonds, and their psi and phi rotational angles are varies. Therefore, they attain the shape of coil. Almost all proteins with more than 60 residues contain one or more loops of 6 to 16 residues are known as omega loops. Usually, secondary protein structures are present in the form of alpha helix, beta pleated sheets, beta bands, omega loops. There are also some super secondary structures or known as super secondary motifs are present. You can see in this picture super secondary motifs. They are certain groupings of secondary structure elements are known as motifs like beta alpha beta motif, Greek key motif, beta Minder motif, and beta barrel motif. After secondary structure, now let us study a little bit about tertiary structure. Tertiary structure is the three-dimensional conformation of a polypeptide. Till now, we have studied one-dimensional and two-dimensional conformation of polypeptides, but tertiary structure is three-dimensional conformation of polypeptide. It consists of open loops, alpha helix, as well as beta-plated sheets. The common feature of this protein tertiary structure reveals much about the biological functions of the proteins and their evolutionary origins. The function of proteins depends on its tertiary structure. If this is disrupted, it loses its activity. What are the main domains of this tertiary structure? Polypeptide chains containing more than 200 residues usually fold into two or more globular clusters known as domains of amino acids. Fundamental functions and three-dimensional structure of proteins are included in these domains of proteins. These domains consist of polypeptide chains of more than 200 residues. Usually, they fold into two or more than two globular clusters. They perform the fundamental functions and arrangements of three-dimensional structure of proteins. These domains often have a specific function such as binding of the small molecule into big molecule. Many domains are structurally independent units that have the characteristics of small globular proteins. One example of domain or small globular protein is NAD+. This is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. It has the two domain proteins glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase in it. Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide perform very well function in photosynthesis as well as in respiration. What are the interactions that stabilizing the three-dimensional structure of proteins? Or the question arises how three-dimensional structure of protein including coils, including alpha helix, including beta-plated sheets remain stable in its form. The final shape is determined by a variety of bonding interactions between the side chains on the amino acids. These bonding interactions are hydrogen bonds. You can see in this picture in blue color, hydrogen bonding between CH2OH and COOH groups. Ionic bonds are also formed between the carboxylic group and amino group of the two amino acids. You can also see a disulfide bridge in yellow color between two amino acids. You can also see in pink color hydrophobic interactions and van der Waals interactions in polypeptide backbones. These all sorts of bonding and interactions make the three-dimensional coiling shape of tertiary proteins stabilized. You can see in this picture tertiary structure of protein and the coiling in tertiary structure of proteins. You can see hydrophobic interactions between a single coil. At one side you can see hydrophobic interaction in this coil. At other side you can also see a disulfide bridge between two or more than two positions of a single coil. You can also see hydrogen bonding in the turns of this coil. You can also see salt bridge between terminal and central part of this tertiary structure or coil of tertiary structure. These all interactions make the tertiary structure of protein stable. How can we determine or how scientists determine this tertiary structure or understand this tertiary structure? The known protein structures have come to light through X-ray crystallographic studies. X-ray crystallographic studies perform a very well role for the determination of tertiary structure of proteins. Similarly, nuclear magnetic resonance studies or NMR studies perform very well role. The atomic coordinates of most of these structures are deposited in database known as Protein Data Bank or PDB. It allows the tertiary structure of a variety of proteins to be analyzed and compared. What is quaternary structure of proteins? Finally, the biological function of some of molecule is determined by multiple polypeptide chains also known as multimeric proteins. You can see a quaternary structure of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is an example of quaternary structure of protein. The biological function of some molecules is determined by multiple polypeptide chains known as multimeric proteins. Arrangement of polypeptide subunit is also known as quaternary structure. These subunits are held together by known covalent interactions. For example, hemoglobin has the subunit composition of A2B2. They are usually held by known covalent interactions. There are few recent developments about the determination or discoveries of new protein structures, like a team of scientists at the Scripps Research Institute and the National Institute of Health has discovered the structure of proteins known as denamine that pinches off tiny pouches from cell's outer membrane. Similarly, scientists at the Institute of Structure and Molecular Biology have revealed the structure of complex proteins known as FIMD. They act as assembly or platform for the pili of cystitis bacteria. Researchers from the Walter and Eliza Hall Institutes have found a structural surprise in the type of protein BCLW that encourages cell survival, raising interesting questions about how the proteins function to influence programmed cell death. There are various conclusions we can draw about the discussion. Proteins are extraordinary complex molecules. Of all the molecules encountered in living organisms, proteins have the most diverse functions. So, a basic understanding of the structure of protein is necessary to comprehend its role in organism. Further researchers will provide more insight into the structure of several other proteins in coming years. What functions proteins perform in the organism? Dear students, you must know that all enzymes are proteins, storing amino acids as nutrient and as a building blocks for the growth of organisms. Proteins help in transport of fatty acids, bilirubins, ions, hormones, and some drugs. Proteins are essential elements in contractile and motile systems like actin and myosin protein. Proteins perform the defensive or protective function like fibrinogen proteins and antibodies or also proteins that act against antigens. Some hormones are proteins like insulin and somatotropins. Proteins perform the structural functions like collagen and elastin. These are the references from which these materials have been taken out. Dear students, you can also study these books, or you can also browse these links, and you can also study about proteins and structure of amino acids. There are few questions in the form of assignments for you. You have to collect the sources of proteins and write them, so these sources, and if possible also calculate the nutritional value of proteins of these sources. Question number 2, describe the three general ways of catabolism of proteins diagrammatically or by flow chart. Question number 3, why metabolism of protein is necessary. Question number 4, draw and label primary, secondary and tertiary structure of proteins. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.